Is anyone else pretty upset about the recent Canon firmware update? Because I was super bummed out to find out the R6 didn't get C-Log 3. Apparently it's supposed to come in the future, but I mean, come on, Canon, come on. You give it to the R5, you can't give it to the R6. I still have faith that C-Log 3 is going to come to the R6, and apparently the 1DX Mark III as well. You know, does anybody even use that camera? I still see people using the 1DX Mark II, but I barely see anything on the 1DX Mark III. It pretty much looks like the age of the DSLR is dying. Not because people aren't using them. I mean, people are using them a lot less, that's for sure, but I don't think any companies are manufacturing any DSLRs anymore, to my knowledge at least. I know Canon is pretty much turning their head to the mirrorless system. Sony, they've been in the mirrorless system for a while, and yeah, it looks like the future is mirrorless. Even Canon, I think, stopped producing their or manufacturing their EF lenses. It even looks like all of Canon's cinema cameras are moving towards RF glass, and RF glass, I believe, only works on mirrorless cameras. So yeah, we definitely got a mirrorless future. With that being said, do any of you still use a DSLR? I jumped into the game on mirrorless, so I've had mirrorless. Yeah, all my cameras have been mirrorless. I've actually never owned a DSLR, so I'm not that old school. It's kind of funny that DSLRs are looked at as old school now. I've used DSLRs, but I've never actually just owned one. DSLRs are still amazing, so if you have a DSLR, don't feel like you're irrelevant or you don't have the best of the best. I mean, yeah, mirrorless are definitely getting more of the specs now and all the attention, but I mean, the 5D Mark IV, the 1DX, still incredible cameras. The Canon 80D is getting kind of old, so you can probably see the difference between like the 80D and like these mirrorless cameras, but yeah, I'd say things like the 5D Mark IV, 1DX Mark III, Mark II as well, still can compare pretty well to the R6 and like the R5 and all these new mirrorless cameras coming out. All right, so if you had to choose an RF glass and you could only choose one, what would it be? So I've been asked what is the best RF glass to get, and there's not one answer. It can be completely different for everybody. For me, I only have the RF 15-35, so this is the only RF lens that I've used, so I can't give you a good review on these other RF lenses, but I can give you a suggestion on what the best lens is for you. I take that back. I did own the RF 85 f2, and I've tried the RF 35. So I do have experience with a couple of the RF lenses. So if you're looking to dive your hands into the RF glass, then I would say just consider two different things, which would be the price and, well, the focal length that you're looking for. Price is obviously going to play a big part in it. If you only have a small budget for the RF glass, then there are affordable options, which is awesome, because at first when all these RF lenses came out, they were all super expensive. So we do have cheap options like the, well, I say cheap, like cheap. The 85 f2, which was around, how much was it? I think I bought it for, let me just double check. So I bought it for around 1,150, but that's Australian dollars, so do the conversion wherever you live. And then there's the RF 35 1.8, and then the RF 50mm, the RF Nifty 50, the new Nifty 50 1.8. Oh, and the RF 24-105, which is a good all-around lens to start out with. So those would be the RF glass that I would recommend if you're trying to get some RF glass and you're kind of on a budget and can't throw down a few $1,000s. Now, if budget isn't a problem, well, that opens up a whole new door of opportunities because there's a lot of really epic RF lenses. There's the Holy Trinity, the RF 15-35, the 24-70, plus the 28-70, and the 70-200. So I guess that's not the Holy Trinity, but 24-70, 28-70, they're completely different lenses, but you know, around the same focal length. If you weren't aware, yes, there is a 24-70 and a 28-70. The difference with the 28-70 is it's an f2, and the 24-70 would be a 2.8, I believe. So what focal length are you gonna find the most use out of? Are you gonna be doing videos, photos, a bit of both? These are the kind of things you need to consider with what lens you're gonna get. So if you're looking for an awesome all-around lens, then I would definitely invest in the 24-70 or the 28-70, because you're gonna get a pretty good, decent wide angle, and then you got all the way to 70, which is borderline telephoto. So nice, well-rounded lens. It's gonna be good for both photo and video, to get portraits, any nice photos, or if you're vlogging, you can use that. shooting any kind of video, commercial work. It's a great lens. Now, if you're looking to vlog and or do like landscape photography, and you just need that extra wide focal length, well then I would definitely 100% recommend the 15-35, which is the lens I have. And this is a lens that I can talk from experience because it's just epic. It's perfect for vlogging and all of that. It looks really sharp. The only thing I don't like with it paired up with the R6 is that IBIS wobble. You can turn off the IBIS, but that means you have to turn off the lens stabilization, and it kind of sucks that you can't have lens stabilization without IBIS. So personally, I've gotten used to the wobble, but I know I get some complaints about the wobble, about it being annoying and feeling sick and all that kind of stuff. So I do understand that part, but I still incredibly love this lens. So Canon does offer some pretty expensive prime lenses as well for the RF system. I believe there's an RF 50mm that is a 1.2, I think. Yeah, 1.2. And 85, which is, I believe, another 1.2. And what other prime RF lenses are there? Yeah, I believe those are the two expensive prime lenses at the moment that Canon offers. And so those lenses will be good for your portraits and your B-roll kind of shots, things like that if you're doing video. So if you have the money to invest into a nice B-roll lens, let's say, or a nice portrait lens that's a prime, then maybe consider either one of those two options. Now, if you're looking for a telephoto lens in the RF line, there's obviously the RF 70-200, which would probably be my second most wanted lens out of the RF system, the first being the 15-35. So that'll be definitely the next RF glass I get because I want a nice telephoto lens. And then there's things like the 100-400, and there's the 800, and I forget what it is. It goes up from there. But yeah, so if you need to shoot some stuff from very, very far away or somewhat far away, then that's definitely the kind of lenses that you want to get. So coming back to the question, what would be the best RF glass for me to recommend to you? If you're just getting started in the RF glass line and you don't have a massive budget, I would go with the RF 35 1.8 or the RF 24-105 just to get you started, because they're both incredible lenses and they're pretty budget friendly. And then you can go from there. If you already have some RF glass, comment down below and let me know what kind of RF glass you have. Let me know if you guys think if the RF glass is any better than the EF glass or if it's a bit overrated. I'm curious. Let's get into it. Let's dive into it, because a lot of us want to justify the RF glass because it's so expensive. We want to think that it is better, but is it better? I mean, we're finally getting a car tomorrow, so we don't have to get everywhere by pram and skateboard. So super stoked for that, and that also means be able to work on some of my short films. So yeah, super pumped. If you haven't heard, we got in a car crash and our car was deemed not safe enough to drive on the road, so it got written off. And yeah, we haven't had a car for a few weeks. So yeah, it's gonna be really, really good to have a car again and just get outside our neighborhood.